Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. So just the fact that you're here and showing up means a lot to me, and I'll make sure that it's worth your time. All right, so the presentation today, how to scale a business by combining social media and Google traffic in 2019, 2020. I know that a lot of people talk about social media strategies, but they don't talk about using them in combination and how to use Google traffic, which is very, very high intent, with social media traffic, which is latent intent, and how to use those both in combination, how I've used them for myself, my clients, my students, and every single person that I've worked with. So today we're going to learn why just being on social media, making simple Facebook ads isn't as effective anymore. Facebook ads used to be very easy to make. You would make a Facebook ad, get some results, get very cheap clicks back in 2016, 2015. Now that basically everybody knows about Facebook ads, it's really, really hard to compete against everybody, and it's really hard to position your brand as affordable enough to be able to make consistent sales on Facebook. The number one traffic source that most businesses, most startups that I see, most agencies that I see aren't using effectively, how to combine social media with Google to make $10 for every dollar that you spend. I'm going to show you proof that this is possible and how much money can you actually make. And then why becoming a cool and trendy brand gives you an advantage over your competition. This is more from experience and from market research. I built my own swimwear brand from zero, absolutely from scratch, to over $100,000 in about 3 months. So basically by using all these techniques and the techniques that I'm going to talk about today. So a little bit about me. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm 21 years old right now. And at the age of 17 and a half to 18, I dropped out of university to pursue online marketing, went to Europe, traveled all around the world just with my computer, trying to make 500, 1,000 a month from this laptop. And I failed multiple times with e-commerce, which at that point was just like using drop shipping. So drop shipping products from China to the US to try and sell them to US customers. Now I'm at the point where I run 2 stores for myself, totaling about 60,000, a little bit over that per month. Was able to travel the world with the business, run the business from all over the world, and mentor more than 10,000 people on how to do it themselves, 7,000 people on my Facebook group, and about 3,000 people on YouTube. So in combination, it's 10,000. All right, so this is a little bit of income proof that that I'm not just throwing numbers around. I prepared this presentation beforehand, so it's not off today, but 23,000 from the first 2 weeks and a half of November. And then my highest month ever, which I don't know if I can zoom into this. Yeah. So $215,000 from the middle of October to the middle of November. So in a month, more than multiple 6 figures. So that I'm not just talking here. I am showing off results. So when I learned how to do this, I built a free community called the 7-Figure E-commerce Secrets group on Facebook. Now it's about 6,500 people. Back then, it just started from scratch. I just started teaching people how to do it. And a lot of people started getting results. People were starting to make $500 a day, $1,000 a day just from the free group. So I decided to open up a coaching program, right? A one-on-one personal coaching program to let me see if my strategies that I've been using actually work with real businesses and real people. And they definitely do. Some students are making $15,000, $12,000 every single month from what I'm teaching in the program. More student successes, $700 in a day, $5,000 in a month. But we're not here to talk about my successes or my experience or anything. We're here to talk about what I just said, which is how to actually do it with your business. In your case in particular, it's going to resonate a lot because it's physical products. You didn't specify the industry, but it's obviously going to help. And you guys, of course, it's going to help as well. Now, just being on social media and making simple Facebook ads isn't as effective anymore. So what a lot of new startups and new businesses do is they open an Instagram page, they open a Facebook page, Pinterest, Snapchat, and on Instagram specifically, they just start following and unfollowing people. And they start watching some YouTube videos about how to use hashtags to grow on Instagram. Well, that used to be really, really easy 3-4 years ago. Now we tried it ourselves on a case study using an account from 0 followers, using hashtags follow and follow. It's really, really hard to compete against the thousands of brands out there. But there are paid strategies with low budgets. Even if your company doesn't have $1,000 to start up with, there are still strategies which you can absolutely crush it. So this is what happens to most people that start out in, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. What most people that start off with Facebook ads this is what happens to them, right? Majority mindset, $200 you buy new shoes. Entrepreneur mindset, you turn out to 2,000. And then the mindset of most businesses, they take those $200 on Facebook and they lose it all because they don't know. They just think, oh, I'm going to get cheap clicks on Facebook. This is what everybody's saying. But that was before, not now, right? So you're going to end up, Mark Zuckerberg is going to take your money. So number one traffic source you're not using effectively is Google, and not just Google traffic, right? Google AdWords, it's a simple platform, but and specifically Google Shopping. And this is the one that absolutely changed my business last year. We were doing a lot of Facebook ads and just not struggling, but Facebook ads is really hard to maintain a consistent profit margin. So on Facebook, you can do $100,000 in a month. Profit-wise, it's not always the case. Not always. We had some months where we were making $80,000 with a 10% profit margin, which is okay. But if you have 5 people working for you full time, then it just ends up being nothing. You end up essentially earning nothing. Google Shopping is a very effective traffic source because it has an extremely high conversion rate and a very, very low cost per sale. And here a little bit of proof from my inner circle, from my coaching program. One of the students made $350 in one day, a couple of days after starting. And then another student asked, how much did you spend on ads? $38. So a $38 ad spend on Google Shopping turned that into $350 revenue. So this is you're 10xing your money essentially. This on Facebook ads, extremely difficult. On Google AdWords, extremely difficult. Google Shopping, a lot more controllable. You can keep that on a consistent basis. Now, the real magic here comes when you combine Google Shopping with Facebook. And then I'm going to talk about Instagram as well, how to use influencers and my strategy for using influencers. When you combine all of these, that's where you have consistent profit margins, consistent income coming in every single month for basically any type of business, whether it's software, whether it's physical products. It's more for physical products because that's my experience, but it's for every type of business. So what are Google Shopping ads, right? So Google Shopping ads, I'm sure you've seen them a million times. When you search for something, specifically in this case, winter coats, these few images that pop up on the top, not the search results on the bottom, but all the images, those are all Google Shopping ads. And the cool thing about this is you can't bid to be on there, right? You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to bid $1.20 per click, and I'm going to bid whoever's bidding $1.10 per click. Well, kind of, but these shopping ads, they take information from all your website. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with Amazon. On Amazon, if you rank higher, you obviously sell higher, but you can buy Amazon ads to rank higher than the people that are ranking organically, thus getting more sales through that. Google Shopping kind of works in the same way. If you buy that position, it's as if you were ranking organically, because the Google Shopping, how it works is that it takes information from your website to rank your ad against other ads. So that's essentially how this particular method of traffic works, and it's extremely effective. And all that it takes, it doesn't take an extremely versed copywriter. It doesn't take hours of, okay, let me draft what the market wants, what specific words do I have to write for this market. No, all it takes is a good title and a capturing image, and you have that on your hands. Now, for specifically things that are not physical products, I know you talked about that. The way that I'm using AdWords for one of my clients that is competing against big software brands is by stealing their competitors' customers. And how I do that, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on here. As you guys know, Airtable, you've probably heard of them. They're a billion-dollar company, spreadsheet management software. When people search for Airtable.io, you have this competitor that's saying, considering Airtable, check out our service instead. And this is extremely effective because you can't just compete for, management software, CRM software, spreadsheet software, whatever it is. But the people that are looking for Airtable are specifically looking for what you're offering. And by stealing the customers, you're just ranking for that specific keyword on an ad, you essentially have the most targeted audience you can get ever, right? So you have a question? This is a way where softwares and digital marketing platforms or things that aren't physical products can do really, really well on AdWords. It's just by taking your top competitor that you know their audience is your audience, and then ranking for that keyword, and then bidding on that keyword. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Those clicks are probably really expensive. So that's, but that's a story for another day, how to increase lifetime value and so on. But yeah. All right, so Instagram. I'm going to talk about Instagram a little bit, and this is my brand. So this is how we grew very, very fast initially. We had about $2,000 in startup, well, not startup funding, but like from our bank accounts, about $2,000. So we had to use those $2,000 as fast and as best as we could. So my strategy for growing products that are, that are eye-catching is by using micro-influencers. What I mean by micro-influencers is that when you learn about Instagram influencers, you learn about this thing called, shout outs, and how Instagram influencers put pictures of products so that everybody knows about them. Everybody thinks that you have to pay a 1 million follower count account in order to make money. Like, that's what most startups that I've talked to think. They're like, oh, I have to pay Kylie Jenner $1 million for her to post my picture, then I'll make money. Well, you can use micro influencers. You can see in this picture from May, she only has 1,200 followers, 200 likes, and she has 10.1 K followers. The thing with her is that from 10,000 followers, she gets consistently 1,200 likes, which means her audience is extremely engaged with what she's putting out. So if she puts out a picture of like, hey guys, this is my family, or this is my dog, or whatever, people like it because they like her. Not because the picture is awesome or because she posted a cool view. It's because they like her personality, that connect with that person. These are the best influencers to do business with. Just because a person that has 1 million followers might not have the most engaged audience. You might follow Cristiano Ronaldo, but if he posts a picture of his baby or something, you don't really care. You just care about his soccer abilities. But in this case, it's people that really, really care about this person. And the entire cost of the product, $12 to actually manufacture it in China, $2 for the shipping, generate over $500. So we're talking about a 50x on our money just by using this strategy. As you can see here, PS, I'm excited to share that Madame Bravo, which is my brand, is also doing a buy one, get one free. So she's actually actively advertising our deals. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess wondering how you find and whittle down. So let's say you're not on Instagram all the time. You've been, it's Ukraine. It's like you don't know who necessarily is cool, who whatever. Did you hire someone to find these people? Do you just mass mail a swath of certain demographic, like Instagram demographic? If they have travel in their name, or they have between 10,000 and 20,000 followers, how do you pick and how do you pitch necessarily these
influencers? Well, that's a great idea. I didn't add it into the presentation, but I do have a video on this, and it's basically hashtags work in two different ways. So you can't just, if you sell, for example, toothbrushes, hashtag toothbrush would be, you're just going to find companies that sell toothbrushes. When you use hashtag I love my toothbrush, my toothbrush, or my toothbrush, you're going to find consumers. Same thing applies for most products out there. If you just hashtag the product or hashtag whatever the product does, you're just going to find brands selling the product. If you hashtag, for example, to find her, I'm thinking because we found her, I think March, but I think it's Bikini Babe, hashtag Bikini Babe, something like that. So where somebody that uses that product identifies with it, or is in your market, hashtags that they use. That's how we find most of our partners. When it comes to connecting with them, it's more of putting it on a scarcity, on a exclusivity level. So what we said is we have an ambassadors program, and we're looking for 10 ambassadors to promote our brand. And this is what really, it changed from, hey, we just want to make money off you, to, hey, we want to build an actual partnership. And we did. We built an actual partnership with her. We gave her her own code, Charisse10, for 10% off for all her followers. So it's more of, you tell them, hey, we're expanding our ambassadors program. We need 10 more ambassadors, and we think you're a great fit for it because your audience loves you. A lot of the times, they're going to get back to you with more information. You're going to have to talk to them for 5-10 minutes. Sometimes it's better to go for more than 10,000 up to 50,000 followers, That's the 10 to 50 is where they'll accept a free product in exchange for a shout out. From 50,000 on, I've seen that most of them want money for the shout out.
Right.
From 100,000 up, you're talking about $100 up for just a picture. But you can, you spend $14 on a product, make 550 from a 10,000 account. So you don't need hundreds and thousands. You don't need hundreds of thousands. All you need is 10,000 that are very, very engaged. And this picture was taken like 2 weeks ago. So she had 8,000 or 7,000 when we.
Would you even think to offer like a contract, like a non-compete with someone like that, or it's more like take what you get?
I don't do non-competes because they usually have other brands hitting them up to do the same.
Really?
So most of them are not willing to do a non-compete. The only way they're doing a non-compete is if you're an established worldwide brand. Like if Lululemon came to them and said, "Hey, we want to partner with you," then yeah. But a small brand like us, probably not.
Yeah.
And I mean, we should have signed contracts on, hey, if you don't do the shout out, we can legally pursue you or whatever. But since it's, you're just wasting $14, it's not really worth it over the course of it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a software that can help you a lot. It's called Hype Auditor. And Hype Auditor, essentially what it does, it analyzes an Instagram account's audience and tells you absolutely everything about it. So it tells you, obviously, followers, engagement rate, which is how many people that follow her actively engage with a post, which is 17% in this case. Anything above 4 or 5% is extremely good. You'll see that multi-million follower accounts that get sponsorships and get shout-outs consistently, they have from 4 to 7 consistently. So
17.
Yeah. So in this case, like anything above 10 is really, really good. Anything above 5, you should consider it. Some accounts I've seen that have like 1 million followers, they have a 0.04% engagement rate. Some of those accounts buy their followers. Some of those accounts, they have inactive accounts. And Hype Auditor tells you everything about that. So it tells you if they bought followers, it tells you if their accounts are inactive, and it tells you exactly from where those followers are from. So some huge accounts will analyze them through here, and they'll say, 60% of their following lives in Russia. Even if they have, even if they're willing to do it for free, we're not selling to Russia, so it really doesn't, it's not going to help at all. What language they speak, what things they like, and so on. All right, so the last piece of the puzzle, I don't know how much you guys have heard of dynamic product ads on Facebook. So carousel ads that are used for retargeting. So this is how you get a $1 investment turned into a $10 revenue by taking that Google traffic and that Instagram traffic, retargeting it through dynamic product ads on Facebook. So essentially how they work is you have the text on the top, and these products, these images that start coming, that come, essentially to the left, depend on what product you've seen. So this happens a lot with apparel. We tried these and these absolutely crushed it. And it's more of when you click a product, a couple of days later, it shows you the exact product that you clicked on, right? That's how the system inside Facebook works. It shows you the products that you're more likely to be interested in and the ones that you already checked. So it's the most powerful retargeting we've ever used and the highest return on our ad spend. Any questions up to here?
How do you access this? Is it just through Facebook Ad Manager?
Yeah, through the Facebook Ads Manager. It's called Catalog Sales. Catalog Sales is the type of campaign. And then from there on, you can create an audience depending on the product. All right. So as you can see here, cost per result for some purchases, and this is over spend over like 3 months. So we're talking like more than $10,000 spend. 51 per purchase for our products are, our bikinis, I can show them in a little bit. They're between $45 and $55. In the high range, like 70 is our most expensive one. And we're talking, we're making purchases for 50 cents to $1, getting an ROAS, return on ad spend, that's over what everybody expects from Facebook, right? People expect from Facebook 3 to 5 return on ad spend. You can get a 30 to 50 by using these types of ads with the other types of traffic. So Instagram and Google being the cold traffic, and then Facebook being the warm traffic, essentially. On Facebook, it's easier to convert a warm audience than it is a cold audience, just because Facebook is a latent intent. It's not direct buyer intent. And Google, and that's why I love Google with Facebook, just because people that look for a winter coat or a specific type of coat on Google, they're way more likely to buy it than someone that just sees it randomly on Facebook. So if they search for it on Google, they find it, they don't buy it at that point. 7 days later, they get an ad on Facebook saying, hey, you forgot to buy this. Here's the ad. Oh, okay, I'm going to buy it. And that's, a lot of companies are starting to use this strategy of just using Google and then Facebook, and it's really, really crushing it. So last thing I'm going to talk about is why becoming a cool and trendy brand gives you an advantage, and how to, in this market, we can't avoid competition. There's just no way of avoid. Every industry, there's no blue oceans basically anymore, even though there are just like purple oceans, right? Blue and red turning red. These two companies, I absolutely love them. Quip, which is pretty cool, and then MeUndies.com. They're both, cool product for ordinary areas of life. So these companies essentially turn something that is mundane, normal, right? A toothbrush. MeUndies is an underwear company. They turn regular products that everybody uses day to day into a cool and trendy, and the word that I like to use is culture, because culture, right? So they kind of make their own like customer cult, sort of. And when you buy into it, you're now part of this community of cool people that are wearing these, like, even, I bought from them both just because of, I've been spammed on the subway with them, and it kind of makes you feel a little bit cooler when you buy a product like that, because it's like, oh, I'm supporting a startup that's making something cool and trendy. That is how Airtable kind of got its $1 billion valuation, is by bringing coolness and trendiness to something extremely boring and mundane, which is spreadsheets, right? They took Google Sheets and they turned it into something cool that people can share with their friends. They're like, hey, this spreadsheet looks really cool, check it out. And that, I think, is one of the biggest factors that gave them that insane growth, is by making something mundane into something cool that everybody just wants to use. So yeah, I mean, those are the main points I wanted to touch on, and now I kind of want to take your questions, see where we can take it from here. But those are the main points that I want to talk about. From my experience, combining all these sources of traffic is a lot more effective than just doing one. And a lot of companies start off doing one. Depends on, if you would ask me, okay, I have this specific company, how should I start? Which traffic source should I use? It depends on, first, startup capital, or how much funding you have. If you're very, very tight on funding, influencers is the best way to start. Just because a company that has, for example, I've had students in my coaching program that started with $500 and have turned it into a $20,000 a month business.